There is an art to diving. First, you stand on the edge of a body of water you may have known your whole life, a bright pool that smells like chlorine and sun cream. Or maybe it's a river you've already swum up, like a body of wisdom. Or maybe you only arrived at this diving place today, a cool waterhole with ferns and bellbirds. You don't know each other, but standing on its edge makes your heart relax and want to attempt half-pike pirouettes, or just a beautiful, simple, normal dive. Next, you must check what's in the water. Every body of water is different every day, so never assume you know. We are taught well to check for logs in the depths so we don't break our necks. But we may also notice how the sun penetrates the water to know where we may be held, floating in its warmth when we are in. We may notice the water's daily song that changes with rainfall. We may notice happy, pretty water lilies, some of which are not endemic. They were brought here during a sad time, but they are very, very beautiful. Water lilies remind us that sometimes two sides of the same equation will never equate, that life is too immense to explain. Ducks remind us not to take any of this too seriously. And sometimes there's even phosphorescence, which is the water's precious magic that we can never adequately describe to anyone else. Chlorine pools are easy to check for these things in. Waterholes and rivers are different. We may need to take a dip first to check the water out before we take our dive. This also allows us to check the temperature and current if we want to know. And then there's the physics. How high is our diving block, or board, or rope, or cliff face? How deep will we plunge? Diving is mass and velocity. It's flight and it's grace. And diving is faith. How many divers have stood on the edge, not knowing what would come next, imagining grace and immensity and beauty, but never truly knowing what that is until they leapt into the air above the water below? Diving is faith that the body of water exists beneath us. And if we should never know what it means to exist, then diving is the strength and courage in our relationship with the water that allows us to dive into it anyway. Diving is a dance. It is patience and skill and humility and observation, and it can only be done right if it's done passionately. It uses the environment, the body, the block, and the water. But actually, we hardly ever think about any of that, because we are diving artists. We dive every single day, and we never know what we are diving into. That is what makes diving a true art.